1992 was a strange year for cartoons. Networks were chasing the next big hit. Toy companies were throwing money at anything with a gimmick, and Primetime was convinced it could clone The Simpsons.
David Letterman!
Hi, David. I'm Grandpa.
The result was a year packed with oddball experiments, cult curiosities, and one-season wonders that vanished almost as quickly as they appeared. From ducks and dinosaurs to political rodents and cowboy cows, let's take a look back at the short-lived cartoons of 1992 that left behind some unforgettable Saturday morning memories. Number 10, The Plucky Duck Show.
And every afternoonie, I'm invading your TV.
Coming off the massive success of Tiny Toon Adventures, Fox decided that one character deserved his own spin-off, Plucky Duck. The result was The Plucky Duck Show, which premiered in 1992. On paper, it made sense. Plucky was one of the most popular Tiny Toons, a selfish, scheming little duck who always thought he was smarter than everyone else. He had breakout moments like Duck Dodgers Jr. and the infamous Bat Duck parody.
Aha! You criminal scum.
So a solo series looked like a sure thing. The problem? Most of the series wasn't new. The majority of the episodes were recycled shorts from Tiny Toon Adventures, with just a handful of original segments added in. Kids who tuned in expecting a brand new cartoon found themselves watching reruns with some slight repackaging. The result was a show that never quite stood on its own. Without fresh material, Plucky couldn't carry the weight of an entire series. And after just 13 episodes, the Plucky Duck Show was quietly canceled. Plucky always thought he was destined to be the star, but in the end, he was still just living in Buster Bunny's shadow. Number 9, Super Dave, Daredevil for Hire. If you grew up in the late 80s or early 90s, you probably remember Super Dave Osborne, the clumsy stuntman created by comedian Bob Einstein. He was a regular on talk shows and even had his own variety show, where his death-defying stunts always ended in disaster. In 1992, Fox tried to bring the character to Saturday mornings with Super Dave, Daredevil for Hire. The cartoon mixed animated adventures with live-action wraparounds featuring Bob Einstein himself. Each episode had Super Dave attempting ridiculous stunts while teaching kids a lighthearted moral along the way. The problem? What made Super Dave funny for adults, his sarcastic deadpan delivery and intentional bad stunts, didn't really click with kids. The animated version leaned on slapstick, but it was too tame compared to Looney Tunes, and the humor felt watered down. Even with the real Super Dave hosting, the show never found much of an audience. It lasted only 13 episodes before Fox canceled it. Super Dave may have been a cult comedy favorite, but as a Saturday morning cartoon, he crashed and burned after just one season. Number 8, King Arthur in the Knights of Justice.
Then, from the field of the future, a new king will come to save the world of the past.
In the early 90s, every toy company wanted the next Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Enter King Arthur in the Knights of Justice, a cartoon that mashed up medieval legends with football and radical 90s energy. The premise was wild. After the real King Arthur and his knights are trapped, Merlin summons a modern-day football team, led by quarterback Arthur King, to take their place. So yeah, a bunch of jocks in shining armor were suddenly protecting Camelot. The show leaned heavily into action figures, with toy-ready armor, weapons, and villains. It even got a Super Nintendo game, though critics weren't kind. On TV, it only ran for 21 episodes before disappearing. The mix of medieval fantasy and football was just too weird to catch on. Without strong ratings, the toy line stalled too. Still, it's remembered today as one of those only in the 90s experiments. Ambitious, bizarre, and gone in a flash. Camelot had Knights of the Round Table, and in 1992, apparently Knights of the Offensive Line too. Number 7, Wild West Cowboys of Mesa.
Standing up for law and order and living by the code of the West. On Mesa!
In the wake of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, networks were desperate to find the next Animal Heroes with Attitude franchise. One of the strangest results was Wild West Cowboys of Mesa, which hit ABC in 1992. The concept? A Wild West frontier populated entirely by humanoid cows. The heroes were a trio of gunslinging bovine lawmen: Marshall Moo Montana, Dakota Dude, and Colorado Kid. They protected Moo Mesa from corrupt villains.
You boys don't know who you're messing with.
Oh yeah, you ain't no Santa Claus, I know that.
Created by Ryan Brown, a comic artist who worked on Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. The show was tailor-made for toys, video games, and tie-ins. Konami even made an arcade beat-em-up, which many kids remember more fondly than the cartoon itself. Despite the marketing push, the show struggled in the ratings. It was quirky and colorful, but critics felt it was just another attempt to cash in on Turtle Mania, without much originality. After 2 short seasons and 26 episodes, the herd was put out to pasture. They had big hats, big horns, and big dreams, but these cowboys never quite wrangled the success of their Ninja Turtle cousins. Number 6, Fish Police.
Fish City can only be described as the bouillabaisse. Trust me, being a good cop in a bad town can be murder.
At the height of the Simpsons craze, every network wanted their own animated primetime hit. CBS took a gamble in 1992 with Fish Police, based on a quirky underground comic book. Set in an underwater city, the show followed Inspector Gill, a hard-boiled fish detective, as he tangled with mobsters, femme fatales, and other sea creature crooks.
We prefer to be called Little Grummies.
I don't care if you prefer to be called Little Bo Peep. You're going to the big house.
The cast was stacked with talent. John Ritter, Ed Asner, Tim Curry, and Jo Beth Williams all voiced characters, but the tone was a complete mess. The original comics had a mix of noir grit and mature humor, and CBS tried to water it down for network TV.
Come on, Catfish. I'm not getting any younger. Come to think of it, I'm not getting any.
Patience, Goldie, patience.
My third husband said I had the patience of a saint. Of course, that's when he dressed up like a monkfish and called me Mother Superior.
The result was a cartoon too weird for kids, but not sharp enough for adults. Critics called it a Simpsons wannabe, and audiences didn't bite. Only 3 of its 6 episodes actually aired before CBS pulled the plug, making it one of the fastest cancellations in 90s animation. It turns out Fish Police couldn't swim with the sharks of prime time. It sank without a trace after just 3 episodes.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Number 5, Stunt Dawgs. If you thought the early 90s had some strange cartoon concepts, Stunt Dawgs is right up there. Premiering in 1992, this syndicated series followed a team of Hollywood stunt performers who doubled as crime fighters. The heroes, led by Daredevil Needham, a nod to legendary stuntman Hal Needham. They used their movie stunt skills to battle an over-the-top villain named Dick P. Fungus and his gang, the Stunt Scabs. Think explosions, car chases, slapstick, and lots of shouting. The show was heavily merchandised with toys, vehicles, and even plans for a feature film that never happened. And while 40 episodes sounds like a hit, it was actually a single prepackaged syndication block meant to cash in quickly. Once those episodes aired, there was no follow-up season. Critics wrote it off as loud and forgettable, and without strong ratings or toy sales, Stunt Dawgs was quickly left in the dust. These daredevils could survive car crashes and explosions, but not the crash and burn of Saturday morning TV. Number 4, Fievel's American Tales. In the late 80s and early 90s, Don Bluth's and American Tail films were a big deal. The sequel, Fievel Goes West, hit theaters in 1991, and to keep the momentum going, CBS launched a Saturday morning spin-off, Fievel's American Tales. The show picked up right where the movie left off, following the plucky little mouse and his family as they settled into life in the Wild West. The tone was lighter than the films, less dark immigration, more slapstick and life lessons.
Fievel! Sydney, don't worry, I'll save you! Somehow, I hope!
Most of the main characters returned, including Fievel, Tanya, and Tiger the Cat. On paper, it had everything going for it. Recognizable characters, name value, and a slot on network TV. But it just didn't click. The animation quality was cheaper than the movies. And without Don Bluth's touch, it felt more like a standard Saturday morning cartoon than a continuation of the films kids loved.
So, Fievel, Mauskowitz, und that good-for-nothing tiger. Again!
The show lasted only 13 episodes before disappearing from the schedule, making it another short-lived attempt to turn a hit movie into an ongoing series. Fievel went west on the big screen, but on Saturday mornings, he couldn't make it past one season.
This isn't goodbye. It's just so long. Until the next time.
Number 3, Capital Critters. In the early 90s, every network wanted their own Simpsons. ABC's big swing was Capital Critters, a primetime animated series that debuted in 1992. The show followed a young mouse named Max, who moves to Washington, D.C. after his family is killed by exterminators.
I can get you. Just hang on.
Your cousin in Washington.
Huh?
Your cousin Berkeley. Find her.
He finds shelter in the White House, where he befriends other critters living in the walls, including roaches and rats. And together they experience the political world from the shadows. What made Capital Critters different was its tone. It tried to mix kid-friendly animal antics with heavy-handed social commentary. Episodes tackled gun control, racism, and drug abuse, but done through talking rodents. The result was awkward at best and cringeworthy at worst.
Now you have the opportunity to be a kind stranger, son. Screw it up and I'll kill you in your sleep.
Critics slammed it for being neither funny enough for adults nor light enough for kids. Ratings tanked and ABC canceled the show after just 13 episodes, making it one of the most infamous Simpsons wannabes of the era. Capital Critters wanted to be biting political satire, but it ended up as nothing more than a political footnote. Number 2, The Adventures of T-Rex. Some cartoons are so bizarre you wonder how they ever got made. The Adventures of T-Rex, which debuted in 1992, is one of them. The premise followed 5 dinosaur brothers living in a futuristic city. By day, they performed as a singing and dancing comedy act, and by night they put on power suits and fought crime against an evil syndicate called the Corporation. Produced by Deke and aired in syndication, the show had all the hallmarks of a toy-driven 90s cartoon. Colorful costumes, action-packed battles, and lots of catchphrases. But the execution was awkward. The mix of nightclub musical numbers and superhero action didn't mesh, and the humor often fell flat. Despite a whopping 52 episodes being produced, it was all done as a single package for syndication, with no follow-up season. Once those episodes aired, the show disappeared from the airwaves almost as quickly as it appeared. They were part stand-up act, part superhero squad, and 100% proof that the early 90s would greenlight just about anything. Number 1, The Addams Family.
The Addams Family.
The Addams Family had been a pop culture staple since the 1960s, and with the success of the 1991 live-action film, ABC decided it was the perfect time for a Saturday morning revival. Enter the Addams Family animated series, which premiered in 1992. Produced by Hanna-Barbera, the show leaned closer to the original TV sitcom than the darker movie version. Gomez, Morticia, Wednesday, and the rest of the family returned with their trademark charm, though softened for a younger audience. John Astin, who played Gomez in the 1960 series, even reprised his role as the voice of the character, which gave longtime fans a nostalgic hook.
I throw myself upon the mercy of your immensely kissable arm.
Better luck next year, dear.
I hope not.
While it wasn't a disaster, it never really caught fire either. The humor felt tame compared to both the original show and The Simpsons, which had raised the bar for animated family sitcoms. After just 21 episodes, the family packed up their coffin and disappeared from Saturday mornings once again. The Addams Family proved they were creepy, kooky, mysterious, and spooky, but in 1992, not quite ratings gold.
Say, Lurch, where is the boy?
Cowering in the graveyard.
Ah, yes, a pre-joust tradition.
Shows like these are a snapshot of what Saturday mornings, and TV in general, looked like in the early 90s. Experimental, toy-driven, and sometimes just plain bizarre. So which of these cartoons do you remember? Did you watch Fievel's American Tales? Or maybe get your hands on a Cowboys of Mesa action figure? Drop your memories in the comments. And if you want more deep dives into forgotten cartoons, don't forget to like and subscribe. Because when it comes to cartoons, sometimes the biggest flops are the most fun to remember.